In this video, I want to explain you the process of purchasing a property. Purchasing a property is a huge step for most of us. For you as a first-time home buyer, or maybe a second home or a third home, or you as an investor, purchasing a property is a huge investment. Especially if you are a family or a single person, purchasing a property is a huge step. You're moving from renting a property to a big commitment of getting your own property, which is fantastic. Investing in getting your own place is the best thing that you can do. Step number one, find a good real estate agent who you feel comfortable working with. Someone who can hold your hand step by step and tell you what are the steps to take when purchasing a property. Now, once you find a real estate agent who you feel comfortable with, you're going to find a mortgage lender. Once you found the real estate agent you want to work with, now it's time to find the mortgage lender who you are going to be working with. Someone who is willing to explain the costs involved, what it's going to take for you to be pre-approved for a mortgage loan, understand the numbers, interest rate, and everything that is involved in the purchase of a property when you are financing it. You want to be safe. You want to know what your monthly payment is going to be and everything that goes with the loan. So take your time to shop and understand that mortgage loan that you are going to be getting for the purchase of your property. Now, at this time, you already talked to a real estate agent. A real estate agent or broker, real estate person who is going to be helping you out, already should understand exactly what you're looking for. A 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. Is a potty important for you? Is a backyard important for you? You want new construction, an older house but in a good location, schools, one bedroom, 2 bedrooms, and everything else. You know, that those features that you want to have in the property that are important for you. So once you have a clear understanding of your mortgage loan, then now it's time to go out and start shopping for the property that you are going to be hunting for or looking for, right? At this point, your real estate agent should understand what exactly you are looking for. He or she should have a list of the items or the things that you want to have in that property that you are going to be looking for. A backyard, a pool, 1 bedroom, 2, 3 bedrooms, 1, 2, 3 bedrooms, 2-story house, whatever the features that you want to have in your property, your real estate agent has to have a clear idea of what you are looking for. Now, don't take me wrong, you might not get your dream house on the first property that you buy, but we can get as close as we can. It depends on the market, but you as a first-time home buyer, if you are a first-time home buyer, it might be a little bit more challenging, especially if you have limited access to financing, right? If you are a second buyer, a third, if it is your third property or maybe an investor, you might have more leverage depending on what kind of financing you have. But in the process of hunting for that property that you want to buy, you're going to see multiple properties. Also depends on the market. In this market, 2022, we're still dealing with a competitive market on the buyer side. We have a lot of buyers and not a lot of properties available for sale. So if you're watching this video later on in time, the condition of the market might be different, right? We have to kind of understand with the help of our mortgage officer and our real estate agent to understand, what market we're going to be working on. So when you go out and see properties, you might see 10, 20 properties, right? You're going to choose the ones that you really like, the ones that are closer to the things that you want in your house, and you're going to send an offer. Now, sending an offer is just a proposal to purchase that property. There is no commitment yet, right? The seller is going to check the terms on the offer that you send, and the seller is going to choose if they like the offer, if they want to work with you, right? So make sure that you understand, the terms of your offer, and communication between you and your real estate agent is crucial, it's important. That's key for you to understand what you are offering to that home seller, right? So make sure that you understand your offers. You have to use common sense, right? You're dealing with a seller, maybe a person who lived in that property for a long time, who lived with his or her family. So be reasonable with the help of your real estate agent on the purchase price and the terms that you put on that offer. If they accept your offer, not only one, let's say you sold 10, 20 properties, you sent 5 offers to 5 different houses, and they accepted 3 offers, right? So you can send many offers, right? And the sellers might accept your offer. Maybe you got 3, as an example, 3 accepted offers. You have to choose the one that you really want. You can only go in escrow or negotiate in the process of purchasing a property with one, right? You can have only one escrow open when purchasing a property, right? With the same pre-approval, with the same financing. Unless you have extra money and you want to buy 2 or 3, but you have enough capital or enough financing, then that's a different story. But with the same pre-approval, your same financing, you can buy one property, right? As far as it is within your purchase power. Once the seller and you as the buyer came to an agreement, and the seller accepted your offer and you're okay with the terms or the counters from the seller, then the next step is to open escrow. Once we open escrow, we go in a timeline, and this is how it works. The first 3 days from the time that you open escrow, usually the first 3 days are for you to send the initial deposit, right? The first 3 business days. We are in a timeline. If you fail to send the initial deposit within those 3 days, then the seller can cancel escrow and move on to another buyer, right? Now, not all the time we have 3 days. Sometimes if the seller may push to be 24 hours, 48 hours, or 3 days. So everything is negotiable. Now, from the time that we open escrow, we start with the process of bringing everything on time. And it comes to home inspections, termite inspections, appraisal inspection, mortgage loan, paperwork approval. So, as I said, we're in a timeline. So we have 3 contingencies along the 3 most common contingencies, or 3 most usual contingencies. And the first contingency is the home inspection contingency. Home inspection contingency is the inspection of the property to understand the condition and what's going on in reality, if there are any repairs that need to be done, and what's the risk of those repairs, if they are high or minor repairs, right? And also termite inspections. For home inspections, we may have anything between 5 to 12 days to do our home inspections. Now, we try to do those home inspections as soon as possible, because we want the seller to feel comfortable with us as the buyers moving forward with the process, right? Now, expenses are going to come along the purchase of a property, and I want you to be prepared for it. Home inspector is a third vendor, same thing with termite inspector. So a home inspector may cost anything between $300 to $450, $500, depending on the size of the house and depending on the inspector. Those fees are not refundable. You are the client and you are hiring that home inspector to come over and check the property to see and understand what's the condition of the property, And I highly recommend you to do that, because if anything is going with the roof, I want you to know it. So if the seller doesn't want to do anything to the property, at least you know what's going on with the property, and maybe in the future you can fix that issue, that repair. Now, if the seller is open to negotiating those repairs, maybe they can do it for you. But you have proof that that is needed from a licensed home inspector. Termite inspectors, yes, you hire a termite inspector. I highly recommend that as well. Termites are everywhere, and your property most likely is going to be built with wood. So it's better to check if there are termite presence, if there is termite presence in the property. Sometimes the damage might not be too big, but some other times the damage might be high. So it's better to understand what is the condition of your house, if there is any termites, or if there is not so much presence of termites. The termite inspector can cost anything between $50 to $200. It depends again on the house and the inspector. Our next contingency is the appraisal contingency. As I said, we're in a timeline. So from the time that we open escrow up to maybe 12 to 17 days, we have to get an appraiser coming over, a licensed appraiser coming over to the house and inspect the property. And now let me tell you this, it depends on financing. If you are a cash buyer, you don't need to do that. If you are financing, if you need the help of a mortgage loan, so if you're working with the bank to get your mortgage loan, then the bank will require an appraiser to come over to the property, inspect it to make sure that you are buying the property within the price or the value that the property is in the present market. So the appraisers will require the property to be livable, right? To be to have smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, for the water heater to be brazed, right? And based on the condition of the property, right, the appraiser will evaluate the property. And then once he or she does his research and homework and all the work involved in getting the property value, he will send a report to the bank. Now let me tell you this, the bank is going to choose the appraiser, but you as a client will have to pay for the appraiser, right, for that inspector. And it will cost anything between $700 to $1,300, depending on the bank, depending on the appraisal, and depending on the property itself. Our third home purchasing contingency is the mortgage loan contingency. The mortgage loan contingency means that you have to make sure that your loan gets approved, right? You gotta make sure from day one or even from before, you got your property in escrow, you know the property you are purchasing, you have to send documents to the mortgage lender, right? From the time that you get in escrow, things start expediting because you're in a timeline, in a time crunch at that point. Every second that goes by is huge because that's time less that you have to bring those documents to the lender for them to approve your loan on time. So you are gonna get a lot of requests from the lender for paperwork, bank statements, explanation letters, proof that you're still working for the same place, proof that you are still making the same money that you are and that you have a stable job, right? So all those things are important. Go with the lender, make sure that they are on top of your file, and that everything is done on a timely manner. Your real estate agent and the mortgage lender should have communication between them. It's important. We're working in a team. We're working together. Mortgage lender, buyers, real estate agents, and everyone else who is involved in the purchase of the property. Escrow officers, title representatives, title companies, home inspectors, all of them. When you purchase a property, everyone gets involved. Everyone has a role for you to become a homeowner. And it's better that way because everyone is trying to protect you as a client, making sure that everything is good. So it's important that the real estate agent and the mortgage lender have good communication for both of them to understand if your mortgage loan gets approved or if there are any documents that are missing. making sure that you as the client know and provide them to the lender as soon as possible. Any delays will affect on the sale of the property, on the closing time, on the timeline that you have, right? So be aware of what the lender needs for them to confirm your loan has been approved. Communication between your real estate agent and the mortgage lender is huge. It's super important. Why? Because we're working in a team. Everyone working here together for you to become a homeowner. The lender, the real estate agent, the escrow officers, the title representatives, inspectors, all of them are working together to make sure things are done right for you to become a homeowner. So, a real estate agent and a mortgage lender, same thing with the client, with the buyer, we should be working together to make sure that we get the final approval for your mortgage loan. Once that is confirmed, then that's when we remove mortgage loan contingency. So, in resume, we have three very important contingencies: your home inspections, your appraisal inspection, and your mortgage loan approval, right? And all of them are in a timeline. Now, this is not all. While we are in escrow, we are reviewing many other things to make sure that you are a happy buyer at the end of the day. We want to make sure the title is clean on the property, that the person who is selling you the property is the real owner, making sure that there is no liens or judgments against the property. All these things are important for you to take over that property. Because guess what? If we miss a lien against the property, when you become the owner, you also become the owner of that lien and that judgment. So that's why it's important to work with a real estate agent, a good mortgage lender, good people who is going to be working on your side, protecting you, right? Same thing with home inspectors, right? They come over disclosing those things that are in the need of repairs or need attention, and if the seller for some reason doesn't want to do it, then make sure that you do it later on once you become the owner of that property. Everything becomes negotiable depending on the market. Once everything is clear, we have a clean understanding of what the condition of the property is, and we have done all of our duties to make sure, and responsibilities to make sure that the property is good and your loan has been approved and everything is clear. Going to the end of escrow, we want to make sure, and this is almost the last step, that we go back to the property, and this is called a final walkthrough or verification of the property. Why we want to go back to the property? We saw it many times and we're happy with it. We just want to take over. It is very important because verification of the property, a final walkthrough, is going to let you go back to it and make sure that if you requested any of the repairs, if there were any, while the home inspections, that those repairs were done by the seller or were done before closing of escrow. Also, you got to make sure that the condition of the property is in the same condition as you agreed to buy it. Believe it or not, there's been the cases where people think that they can take toilets, that they can take chandeliers as supposed to be included in the sale, right? Sometimes things happen, and maybe an accident, and they broke a wall, and there is a hole in the wall now, or a window is broken. So that's why a final verification of the property, the final walkthrough, it's important. Once that is done and things are clear, we get to the final step, and that is you getting your keys, which we are always happy to do. If you have any questions, let me know. Don't hesitate. The EB group is always happy to help you. We are here for any questions you may have. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel, and if you have any comments, please let us know. We're happy to help your friends and family as well.